Everyone, welcome into the live. Today I am going to walk you through how you can easily find and land a higher paying job in 30 days or less. I'm going to tell you the exact same thing I tell everyone on my Fast Track program. I'm going to walk you through your resume. I'm going to tell you what your resume is all about. More importantly, I'm going to tell you what your resume is not about. A lot of people think the resume is for showing people your work history. It's not. I'm going to tell you what it's all about. And then I'm going to talk to you about how you can find and apply to jobs that perfectly match what you are looking to do, paying what you want to make or more. I'm going to show you how to apply to 90 to 100 jobs a day in just 30 minutes. And I'm going to tell you why you should be doing that, okay? And then I'm going to talk to you about the job interview process, right? What is the job interview actually all about? Is the hiring manager just trying to find out about your work history and to see if you're qualified to do the job? They're not. I'm going to tell you what the job interview is actually all about, and I'm going to tell you what it's not about, so you understand when you walk into an interview, you have total and complete control of the room, total and complete control of the interview. You know exactly what the questions are going to be asked, and you know why they're asking them, and you know how to answer those questions and why you should answer them that way. And then I'm going to talk to you about the one and only question you should ask in an interview. A lot of people think you should ask 2, 3, or 4 questions to show the hiring manager that you're interested. You should not do that. I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do it, and I'm going to tell you what you should be doing, okay? And then I'm going to tell you how you can send one email, just one, a simple email, 3 sentences, to get to a hiring manager to give you $2,000 to $10,000 more from every written offer that you get. So that's what I'm going to be sharing at the end. I'll also leave room for a couple of questions and answers just in case you have questions you want to ask me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to make sure that you have something to write with. So if you're struggling to get job interviews, that's a struggle for you. You're applying to jobs and most of what you're getting as a response is a rejection. No, you're not qualified. We hired somebody else. Or you're being ghosted. No one's responding to you at all. There is a reason why that is happening, and I'm going to tell you, okay? If you're someone who is struggling to find high-paying jobs, like you're applying to jobs and you're like, every job that calls me back for an interview, it's almost like they're lowballing me. I'm going to tell you why that's happening, okay? And then if you're someone who gets to the end of an interview and you're failing to get the offer that you want, you see the pay range or you know the pay range and they're always offering you either the bottom of the pay range or the middle of the pay range when you know you have the skill, experience, and background to be at the top end of the pay range. I'm going to tell you why that happens. Now, let me explain to you who I am in 15 seconds. I am a talent acquisition and recruiting leader. I've been in talent acquisition and recruiting for more than 35 years. I hire thousands of people every single year, and I'm not talking about submit candidates to. I'm not talking about interview. I'm not talking about review. I'm talking about actually get hires. I built one of the largest tech support call centers in the state of Texas. I used to manage national recruiting for one of the largest customer service call centers in the country. I've recruited for some of the largest hospitals, pediatric urgent care clinic companies, IT companies. I work with CEOs, college students, the whole 9 yards, right? I built one of the biggest, what you call internship programs for a large company as well. So I know what the hiring process looks like because I own and manage the entire hiring process. So when a hiring manager needs to hire someone, they come to me. I create the job description. I create the pay range. I get their approval. When they approve it, I'm the one that puts it in the applicant tracking system, okay? And when it's in the applicant tracking system, that automatically goes over to our career site. That job then goes over to all of the job boards that we are connected to. ZipRecruiter, Indeed.com, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and any other job board that we are on. And I manage those postings on the job board. When you submit your resume for that job, it comes back to me. And I'm the one who makes the decision about whether or not you're going to interview with the hiring manager. And I do that based on what the hiring manager tells me they are looking for. So I do all of the pre-screens, or my team, they'll do all of the pre-screens, but we will only submit candidates that hiring managers tell us this is what we want to see. Okay? And if they don't see that, they're not going to interview you. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you how I know that. And then whenever you are getting interviewed by the hiring manager, the person who creates the questions the hiring managers ask you, that's me. I'm the one that gives the hiring managers those questions, so the hiring managers can ask you those questions. That's why I know all of them ask you the exact same thing. Okay? And then when it's time for you to get an offer, I'm the one that creates the offer letter and puts all of the information in there, your benefits, when you start, all of the stuff, right? I'm the one that does all of that. And on your first day, I am usually the person that is part of the team, or I am leading the team that does your new hire orientation so that I can take you to the manager. I told you all of that because I want you to know I don't know one part of the process. I know the entire process. Not only do I design the process, I manage the process for all of the companies that I work for. Okay? All right. So let's get right into it. We're going to start everything out off with your resume, because here's the deal. If you do not have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring manager and shows the hiring manager what they want to see in 10 seconds, you will get a rejection letter saying you are not qualified, or no thank you. Or you won't get a message at all. And you won't know why they're rejecting you. So you're submitting your resume. You know you have the qualifications. You know you have the experience. You've done the job. You can do the job easily that they are wanting someone to do, and you're still getting rejected. And the number one reason why that happens is the hiring manager does not see on your resume what they want to see. Now, if you're someone who believes that the purpose of your resume is to show a hiring manager your skill, experience, education, and background, and show them that you're reliable, type yes in the chat. If that's what you believe the purpose of your resume is, type yes in the chat. Because there's a lot of people that I work with on a daily basis who think that is the reason, the purpose behind their resume. They're supposed to show the hiring manager that they're stable. They're supposed to show the hiring manager that they have this experience. They're supposed to show the hiring manager their work history, and they're supposed to show the hiring manager their education. Well, I'm going to tell you that is not the purpose of your resume. Okay? And by the way, hiring managers do not read resumes. We don't read resumes at all. They just skim your resume, scan your resume, and they're looking for certain information. And if that information is not clear, if they can't find that information in 10 seconds or less, you are going to get a rejection letter. Best case scenario, they'll push your resume to the side. And if they find someone else who has the information on it that they're looking for, then they will choose those individuals. So what are hiring managers actually looking for, and why is your resume getting rejected? There's 4 things that every hiring manager wants to see. Actually 3, but I've added a 4th that is going to help you. Okay. First thing they want to know, whenever you apply to a job, you're putting in an application or you're submitting your resume for a job. The first thing they want to know is, what does this person do? Now, when I say that, a lot of people think I'm talking about your job title. It's not your job title that they're looking for. So if you are a customer service representative, they're looking for someone who has done customer service, possibly in a call center, right? If you are a Scrum master, they're looking for somebody who's done Scrum. Payroll, they're looking for somebody who's done payroll. HR, right? That's exactly what they're looking for. Not the job title, okay? Because there are so many different job titles out there doing the exact same thing. The hiring manager is looking for the function of the job you've done, because that's what they're trying to figure out. They need someone to do a function, a job, and so they're looking to see if you've done that. Okay, If they discover that you have done that, then they will move on to the next thing. If they cannot find that you've done that, it's over. They're not going to call you, okay? So if they realize, okay, this person has done what I do, me, a recruiter. Even though I'm at the VP level, I'm a recruiter. So they say this person is a recruiter. The second thing they look for is, okay, well, how long has this person done it? Okay. Now, why is that important to them? Because if you don't have enough experience, the hiring managers know they're going to have to spend time training you. And by training, I mean, if you're entry level, it's going to take about 20 hours of training time per week, either overseeing you, watching you, showing you how to do the thing they want done. So if you are someone who is entry level and you are not getting interviewed, it's because hiring managers don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the time to train anyone. So they're looking for someone who is more experienced. I know college grads come to me all the time and say, Daniel, well, how do I get experience? Okay, I'm going to tell you how you can get through the door as a college grad without experience. I'm going to tell you how to do that in just a second. Okay, so the second thing they're looking for is experience. And they're looking for a range, okay, 0 to 20 years. So if you have 0 to 4 years experience, we know you're entry level. It'll take extra time to train you. If you have 5 to 9 years experience, we know that you don't need training, but you do need supervision, because we cannot trust you to give you the whole job without checking. Okay. If you have 10 to 15 years experience, we know you're an expert. You don't need anybody to manage you or anything. You can just go get the job done and make it happen. And if you have 15 or more years, you're it. You are the one, right? You are the person we can hand everything over to. We can go about our business and do something else. That's how we determine, when we look at a person's qualifications, when I am trying to submit them for the hiring manager, I'll submit you in 3 categories: entry level, mid level, or senior level. And I usually do 2-2-1, 2 senior, 2 mid, 1 entry level. Right now, if the hiring manager says to me in the conversation before I post the job, I need someone who has at least 5 years experience, I don't submit anybody that has less than 5 years experience. Okay. So hiring managers are looking for the number of years experience. I'm going to tell you how I learned this 28 years ago. The third thing they're looking for, and most of you do not have this on your resume, and this is the main reason why you are getting rejected. Okay? You don't show hiring managers how good you are. And what do I mean by that? Quantifiable evidence, proof, metrics, they're not on your resume. In fact, when I interview candidates and I ask them about metrics, most of them have no idea about what I'm talking about. So I'll tell them, okay, so you're an IT person. How many end users do you support? That's a metric. That's a number. Okay. Okay. You're in sales. What kind of revenue do you generate on an annual basis for a company? What is your prospect to close ratio? Okay. You're in payroll. Okay. How many people do you process payroll for every 2 weeks? If you're a nurse, how many people do you see as a nurse and care for daily? This information is missing from your resume. 99% of you don't have it on your resume. So hiring managers can't determine the level of your expertise because that's missing. That is one of the reasons why they're rejecting you. They turn you away because they don't see that information. Now, the only way for them to find it or figure it out is they have to search for it. They have to try to count, figure it out. Oh, she worked at this hospital. They worked at this place. And if they can't find it, you're out. You're done. They're not going to search for it. Okay? So these are the 3 most common things that are missing from people's resumes, almost everybody's resume. And this is the reason why they're not they don't want to interview you. They don't want to talk to you because their concern is you are going to be a waste of their time. I'm not saying that you are a waste of their time, but they're saying you are going to be a waste of their time, and they don't want to take the time to talk to you because they don't believe it's their responsibility for them to figure this out. It's your responsibility to show them. That's what hiring managers believe. So when we create resumes for individuals, we create resumes with this information. Let me explain to you how I learned it. Years ago, about 28 years ago, I was a senior recruiter at a customer service call center, a 1,000-seat customer service call center. And I was submitting your resume to hiring managers the way you sent it to me. Even though I interviewed you, I would interview you and I would create my interview notes. I would ask you these questions. If I'm looking at your resume and you say, I worked at a call center, I would ask you the question, well, how many phone calls were you responsible for taking inbound a day? What was your call time, right? What were you on the phone like 15 minutes per person? Like what did that look like, right? That's what I would ask you. I knew to ask you that question because the hiring manager told me that's what they wanted, right? So if I didn't include that information with my notes, I thought that hiring managers would say no. But here's the funny thing that happened. Even though I had the notes, right? Even though I had the notes on a separate piece of paper that I submitted with your resume, the hiring manager was still telling me no when they looked at your resume. It was one of the most frustrating times in my career. I knew I was talking to qualified candidates. I knew I took very good recruiter notes and answered all of the questions the hiring manager asked me for. And they were still telling me no, and I couldn't figure out why. I almost quit this job, okay, at this call center. I went to my HR director and I said to her, I'm frustrated. I don't think these hiring managers like me as a person. They don't like working with me. So they're trying to sabotage me by saying no to every candidate that I submit to them. That's what I thought. And I told her, I don't know what to do. I was getting ready to quit this job. If she did not give me a good answer, a solution to this problem, I was going to start looking for another job and quit. Okay. But this is what she told me. I showed her the resumes. I included my recruiter notes and I said, this is what I'm submitting to them. And I thought she was going to get out of her chair and go into the call center and pull all of the hiring managers together and, bless them out. Right. But she didn't do that. What she said to me was, okay, I hear what you're saying. Go ask them again what they're looking for. And I was frustrated. I'm like, what are you talking about? Go ask them what? I already asked them. I have the list of things that they're looking for right here. And that's what I included in my note. She said, Daniel, just try it again. So I walked out of my office with those resumes that they had rejected. 8 out of 10 people they had rejected. 16 out of 20. I had 16 people that I had spent time interviewing that was qualified. They told me no, and I didn't understand. So I set up a meeting with the hiring managers, and I asked their directors to come into the room too, because I was about to pin these people to the wall. I was going to prove that they did not like me, right? I had all of my resumes, 16 resumes with me. And I was going to show these directors and the hiring managers that your team sucks. They are rejecting perfectly good candidates and they're trying to sabotage me as their recruiter. So I went in and said to them, hey, I want to know what I'm missing. Please tell me. Okay, I've submitted these resumes to you and I pushed them across the table. But you guys are telling me no and these candidates are perfectly qualified. This is what they said. Daniel, I am sure the people that you have submitted, they're good people. But I don't see what you are saying in terms of these people's experience. And I said, excuse me? Yeah, we just don't see it. So that's why we're telling you no. You need to get us people that meet the criteria we told you. And I said, these people do have that. Look at the recruiter notes. I've asked those same questions. And then they said this. I hear what you're saying. I see your notes, but I don't see it. And I said, you don't see what? And they said, I don't see it on their resume. So I said, wait a minute. So they're telling me, this is what I was thinking. I didn't say this out loud. Oh, they want to see it right up front on the candidate's resume. They wanted to see you put it on the resume. They didn't want to see it in my notes because they thought that I was embellishing what I was writing about you because you didn't put it on your resume. So let me tell you what I did. Okay. I have 4 candidates that I was supposed to be submitting to them for an interview, but I was afraid to submit those candidates because I didn't want them to tell me no again until after this meeting. So after this meeting, I ran back to my office and I looked at the resumes that I gave to them that they had rejected. And I said, you know what? Wow, they're right. That information is not on your resume. So the 4 people that I was about to submit, I changed all of their resumes. The information that I had in my notes, I added it to their resume right up front. Okay. Now I sent the resume back to the candidate and I said to the candidate, hey, I'm about to submit you to the hiring manager, but I needed to change your resume because if I submitted it the way you sent it to me, they were going to tell me no. Please take a look at it and tell me if it's okay. All 4 of those candidates said yes. And check this out. I then submitted those resumes to the hiring manager and the hiring manager says, yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. Send me more people like this. What changed? It wasn't you. You're the same person. You have the same skill. You have the same ability. The only thing that changed was your resume, right? That's it. That was the only thing that changed. And all of those people started getting hired. I went from 2 to every 10 people getting selected to 8 out of every 10 people getting selected. I have an 87% submittal to interview ratio because I still do this today. Now, here's the other thing I did. I would remove that resume that you originally sent to me. I would remove it from the applicant tracking system and upload the new resume because I did not want the hiring manager to sneak over to the applicant tracking system and say, you cheated. You cheated. This is not the resume that they submitted, right? What they wanted to see was the things that I just told you. And they wanted to see it right up front. So even though you have the qualifications, because they didn't see it on your written resume, they were rejecting you. It's happening to you right now. That's what's happening to you right now. You're not showing hiring managers what they want to see. What you do, how long you've done it, how good you are doing it. I give this example to clients on my Fast Track program. And my Fast Track program is the program where I walk 30 people per month through getting a higher paying job in 22 to 28 days. I do their resume. I take care of helping them set up their LinkedIn profile. I show them how to perfectly search for jobs. Everything I'm showing you right now, this is what I show people on the Fast Track program. Okay? This is the example I use. I said, this is the purpose of your resume. Your resume, it has one job, and that is to get you the interview. It is not to get you hired. That's not the job of your resume. Your resume is supposed to capture the attention of the hiring manager to make them say, yes, yes, I want to talk to this person. So I explained this to everybody on the Fast Track program. In fact, I did onboarding last night, and this is what I explained to them. I said the reason why we created your resume in this way is I want you to imagine you have a leak in your kitchen sink, and it's destroying your hardwood floors in your kitchen. Okay? And you call and ask for plumbers to come to your house to fix your sink. And I said, if one person shows up in a plain white shirt with nothing on it, another person shows up with a gray shirt, there's nothing on it, and another person shows up with a black shirt, and across the top of that shirt it says plumber. I ask everybody on the Fast Track program, which one are you going to choose? Right? And all of them said the same thing. Well, I'll choose the person whose shirt says plumber. And I asked why. And they said, because that's what I need. Yes, that's exactly what hiring managers do. Your shirt doesn't say plumber. Your resume is just a plain white or a plain gray shirt. It doesn't tell hiring managers anything. So when I learned this 28 years ago, I started putting your information right up front. I started showing them exactly who you are, what you do, how long you've done it as a recruiter. That's what got me promoted to director, senior manager, national recruiting manager, and VP, because I do high volume recruiting so well. But I don't, the only difference between me and most of the other recruiters is I know how to attract you, because I know how to write ads to attract you on job boards. And number two, I know how to get you interviews because I know what hiring managers are looking for, right? And so that's the only difference. So I'm telling you, you could do the same thing. But you won't get interviews if you don't have that right across your resume. So when I look at people's resumes and I've reviewed in my career more than 750,000 resumes. I've looked at them with my own eyes. I look at hundreds of resumes every single day. And the glaring difference, the thing that is missing is I cannot immediately tell what you do as a professional. So while I know a problem I have or the hiring manager has, they want fixed, I don't know if you're the answer or the solution to that problem because you have failed to show me that you're the solution. That's why nobody's calling you. I also add one additional thing. One additional thing that we add to people's resume is what we call a value statement. And I'm going to give you the explanation of what a value statement is and how impactful it is by using Nike, right? So when Nike comes out with a brand new shoe, let's say in 2026, they don't describe their shoe like this. They don't say, hey, we have a brand new shoe in 2026 that's coming out. We want you to buy it. It's made of rubber, canvas, and it has laces, and it's a size 11. Buy it. That's not how Nike promotes their shoes to you. What they say is this. Hey, we have a brand new shoe coming out, May of 2026. This shoe is going to help you run faster, jump higher, look better, and win in life. If you want those things, buy this shoe. So you immediately think, this is the benefit I'm going to get if I get this shoe. That's the promise they make. You don't tell hiring managers what they're going to get if they hire you. Most of you have on your resume all of the things you've done in the past. I have done this. I have done that. I have done this. I've led that. I managed this. I managed that. I've been here. I've been there. But it had the hiring managers like, okay, I get that, but what are you going to do for me? Right? That's what hiring managers are thinking. I'm just being quite frank and honest with you guys. So we always add a value statement. I help you to reduce time to hire, increase quality of candidates, right? Reduce your turnover by 35%, whatever that is, right? You need to do the same thing. If you're a nurse, I help you improve care, improve patient outcomes, right? If you're payroll, I help you to eliminate payroll errors and eliminate the dissatisfaction of people who are getting paid. If you're in IT, I help you to minimize technical issues with your computers so everybody's running efficiently, effectively, whatever that is. I talked to a CEO yesterday, a candidate who is interviewing for a CEO role for a nonprofit. He may even be on this live right now. Had a conversation with him, and he's about to interview. He's already done a preliminary interview, but he's about to interview for this job. And I said, do you know what they want to know from you? And he was struggling with that. And I said, I'm going to start from the back. Okay. First of all, there is an outcome they want you to get for them as a CEO. Okay. They want, do you know what that outcome is? He says, well, no, not really. And I said, do you know what their revenue generation is? Yes. I said, well, do you know what their biggest issue is? Yes. They're losing about 20% of revenue on an annual basis. Okay. What is their annual revenue? He told me, I said, okay, that's about this amount of money. I said, here's the outcome they're looking for. One, they want you to stop the bleeding, the revenue loss, while at the same time or simultaneously growing revenue. They want you to lead that. Now, why do they think you can do that? Why do you think that? He didn't know. I said, because they know you're doing it right now as a senior director at the current company you're with. They've seen your resume. They know your work. They just need a leader who is doing what you're doing. You just have a different title. CEO instead of executive director. Okay? Outcomes are what hiring managers want to know you will be able to provide for them. And you are responsible for telling them that. You're going to either have to do it in an interview or you can do it on your resume. Now, if you don't do it on your resume, you're risking not being chosen and not getting an opportunity to tell them in an interview. But if you do it on your resume, you're almost 100% guaranteed that you're going to get an interview because that's what they're looking for. Daniel, what do you do? How long have you done it? How good are you at doing it? And how is what you're going to do help me? That's the missing piece. And when you don't have that, your resume crafted in that way, no one's going to call you. I am helping today to do free resume reviews. So if you want me to review your resume for free, email it to me and I will send you my feedback telling you what you need to fix, add, change, or subtract, whatever. Email it to me. My email address on TikTok is above my head. It's daniel@dscds.com, daniel@dscds.com. And I have pinned it in the chat on Instagram and Facebook, daniel@dscds.com, daniel@dscds.com. I'll review your resume today and reply to you and let you know exactly what hiring managers are seeing or they are not seeing. Why? So you can get more interviews. I want you to come to the door and I want right across the front it to say finance executive, registered nurse, payroll manager, scrum master. I want it to be very clear, right? And if it's not, you're going to keep getting rejections. I don't care if you apply to 20,000 jobs. Let's go to job search. If you're struggling to find jobs, you're saying to yourself, man, there are no jobs open. What's going on? Right now, if you did a search on LinkedIn and you clicked on jobs and you put nothing in the search bar, it will show you there's 4.5 million jobs posted right now on LinkedIn. 4.5 million. So if you're struggling to find jobs, you need to listen to what I'm about to tell you. You need to start, you're searching for jobs wrong, and you need to search for jobs like recruiters search for you. When you search for a job, if you are someone who starts your search with your previous job title, because that's what you're looking for, type yes in the chat. I start my search with my job title. Okay? Type that yes in the chat because I want to make sure that I'm tracking and I'm talking to the right group of individuals. Yes, that's how I'm supposed to start my search, right, Daniel? Yeah, most people say that's what they're supposed to do. Well, guess what? You're not supposed to start a search with a job title. That's not how you start a job search. You are not going to find any jobs that way. I have a client who just graduated from our fast track program in 30 days. His name is Ron. I'll tell you his story more in just a second. Ron was struggling to find jobs. He had been laid off 8 months prior to coming to me. So he came to me in February. Daniel, I am desperate. I need your help, but I don't know if you can help me. I said, what's the issue? He says, well, I'm in my mid-50s. I've been in this career for 30 years. I think I'm being aged out. I can't find any work. I look online and there are no jobs available. And I said, okay, I think I can help you. You just got to take a chance. So Ron signed up for the Fast Track program in February, which started on March the 5th. Remember that day. So I said to Ron, first, we got to fix your resume because it stinks. Okay. So I fixed Ron's resume right up front. He's a sales director. Everybody could see it. Once I fixed his resume, we got on a Zoom call. I told him we're going to fix your LinkedIn profile. Most people think hiring managers and recruiters read the entire profile. We don't. There's only 2 sections we look at. That's it. Your headline and your about section. That's all we care about. We skim and scan the rest of it. We don't read anything else, okay? That's your LinkedIn profile. So we fixed his LinkedIn profile. And then I said to him, Ron, I want you to show me how you search for jobs. And he did. And he did what you do. Ron put in the title, in the search bar, he put in his title. When Ron did that, he came back with 5,400 jobs. And I said, Ron, half of the jobs that you're looking at right now, they're closed. He says, what do you mean? Why are they on the job board? I said, well, when I post a job in the applicant tracking system and it goes to my career site at the company that I work with, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, because they're embedded in our applicant tracking system, they can scrape that job and put it on their site. So that's what you're seeing. Yes, when you apply, it comes back to my applicant tracking system, but that's what you're seeing, and that's how I got there. So I said, here's the problem though. When I close this job in my applicant tracking system, when I close it, like the job is filled, it's closed, we're no longer hiring for that job, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, they do not remove that job from their site until 30 to 60 days after I've closed it and it has been removed from our career site. He says, wow, what? I said, yes. So if that's a surprise to you, type wow. Because that's what's happening. You are applying to closed jobs. How do I know that? You get an immediate rejection, right? So you apply to the job. 5 minutes later, we decided to go with someone else. And you're like, wait a minute, you didn't even look at my resume. Nobody even talked to me. That's what's happening, okay? So I told Ron, you can't search for jobs the way that you're searching for jobs. So once we did all of the filters that I'm about to tell you about right now, just 3 or 4 filters, Ron came up with 18 jobs he could apply to. And I said to him, is this how you're searching for jobs? He says, yes. I said, everybody does what you're doing. And this is why nobody thinks there are any jobs open. So I told Ron, let's go back to the beginning of the search. I want you to search the way that I would search for you. Okay. I told Ron, you're a senior sales account manager. So if I wanted someone, I'm looking for someone with your skill, not title. Your skill is sales. So I'm going to type in sales. Well, when I typed in sales, 450,000 jobs showed up. 450,000. Okay. I said, Ron, what you're looking at is an open search that has sales in either the job title or the job description. That's how you start your search. Now you have a lot more options. Okay. Next thing we're going to sort it by, because we want to make sure we're not applying to closed jobs, is you need to sort it by jobs that have been posted within the past 30 days. Now, why do I say 30 days? The hire cycle is 4 weeks. Week 1, we gather candidates. Week 2, initial screening with the recruiter or hiring manager. Week 3, final interview and offer. Week 4, signed offer and acceptance. And 2 weeks later, you start. That's the normal individual contributor timeline for hiring. Okay. So that's why I say 4 weeks. There's a greater likelihood those jobs are going to be open if you do 30 days or less. All right. So when we did that, it took down half of the jobs. I think it got it down to like 250 or something like that, 250,000. And then we sorted by, he's a director, mid-senior director. So we sorted it by that. And then we sorted by easy apply. Now I'm going to pause here for a second. How many of you don't trust job boards? So instead of doing the easy apply applications, you see the job on the job board and you go over to the company's website to apply there. How many of you do that? Just type yes in the chat. Yes in the chat. I don't trust job boards. I go over to the company's website to fill out the application. Well, guess what? You're wasting your time. You're spending 35 minutes filling out an application on the company's job board only to get your resume into the applicant tracking system. That's all we want anyway. We don't care about the data you're typing into the application. We want your resume. It's the last thing we ask you to upload. You just spent 35 minutes. This is what I told Ron. You just spent 35 minutes filling out a whole application when you could have just clicked quick apply, easy apply, or one click apply on the job board, and it would have sent your resume, name, phone number, and email address in 10 seconds. What are we looking for? Your resume. What's the difference, Dan? Why is it that way? Well, the only difference is we wanted your resume. One source took you 10 seconds and it comes from the job board. One source took you 35 minutes and it comes from our career site. The result on my end is the same. I just want your resume. If I don't like your qualifications, you just spent 35 minutes of your time to get rejected versus 10 seconds of your time. By the way, those jobs are not on the job board unless we give the job board permission. So they're real jobs unless they are closed. But they don't get there by magic. They have to come from somewhere, which is our applicant tracking system. So never leave the job board to go to the website. Now, I told Ron, I'm going to show you how to search and I'm going to show you how to apply. Now that you know how to apply, I want you to apply to 15 jobs right now. It took him 5 minutes. And I said to him, you just applied to more jobs in 5 minutes than you applied to all last week. And I said, that's the big difference. That's why you are not getting a job, Ron, because nobody's seeing you with that big title across your chest. So you're going to submit your application or resume to 90 companies a day, 6 days a week for 30 total days. And you're going to see what happens. He said, that's a lot. I said, yes. Because what happens is when you submit your resume in the applicant tracking system, this is what happens, Ron, and I'm telling you. If you're the first person who applies to the job and 150 people apply to the job after you, and then a recruiter starts looking for candidates, we don't start at the bottom. We start at the last person who applied. So you may never get seen, but nobody's telling you that. Is that fair to you? No. Does it happen? Yes. If that's a surprise to you, type wow in the chat. So you might be buried under 75 to 80 candidates, and you're the most qualified, but you never get talked to. You never get called. You never get a job because you're not applying to enough jobs. So I told Ron, just trust the process. So that's what he did. Ron started off, he applied to 90 jobs a day for the first week. He got some rejections. But in that second week, starting on that Tuesday, Ron had 4 pre-screens scheduled. 4. Remember, he had been looking for a job for 8 months. Couldn't find a job. Didn't get an interview. Mortgage still coming. Car payment. Still got to feed your family. Severance running out. Unemployment is about to end. It's getting desperate. And he's not old enough to get like Social Security or nothing. So he was desperate. He got 4 pre-screens. I prepped Ron before all 4. So we got on a call. I told him, this is what they're going to ask you. This is how you answer it. They're going to ask you this. This is why. Answer it this way. So he was successful in all 4 of those pre-screens. That second week, I said, you got to keep applying to jobs. He applied to another 630 jobs. In week 3, he had 3 more pre-screens and 2 final interviews, one on Monday, one on Tuesday afternoon. Okay? That Friday in week 3, he got 2 offers, but he was waiting on final interviews for 2 more jobs. So in week 4 on that Monday, we had another quick conversation, and he interviewed for those 2 jobs, and he had 2 more job offers. 4 job offers in 28 days. 4. And he could not find a job in 8 months. Why did it work? We fixed his resume, we fixed his LinkedIn profile, and we fixed the volume of jobs he applied to. I showed him how to apply to jobs the right way. Okay, so I hadn't heard from Ron after his interviews. It was a couple days, and me and Ron used to talk every couple days, right? Finally, on April 7th, I got this email from Ron. And by the way, if you're on Ron, hello. But I haven't spoken to Ron since. This is what Ron sent me. Hey, Coach Dan, I wanted to let you know that I accepted a position. I know you wanted me. I accepted one of the positions. I know you wanted to chat with me first, but honestly, this company met everything I requested in terms of salary, vacation days, holidays, investment in their pension plan. He says, my new role will be as commercial manager in the medical business unit with customer responsibilities over 6 shared locations, with customer service managers and operational teams who do not report directly to the medical business units. Daniel, your program is outstanding, and I will be more than happy to provide you an exceptional endorsement. Coach Daniel, your formula really works. Thank you. Best regards, Ron. And why do I share this with you? I'm not trying to convince anybody that this is not theory. I'm not trying to convince anybody that what I do works. Remember, I'm on the side where Ron is trying to be selected. I'm the recruiter. I'm the director that manages the entire applicant process. And I know why you're not being called. I know why you're not being selected to be interviewed. I know why you're getting rejected. I already know why. I don't have any questions in my mind. I've seen thousands of rejections. Thousands. I've seen thousands of people get told no when they were perfectly qualified for jobs. And I question the hiring managers. So I started telling candidates, when you go to an interview, do this. Don't do that. Say this. Don't say that. If you don't do what I'm telling you, you're not going to get this job. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. So I know what candidates need. And this is why Ron has been successful. Now, what's the ending of this story? Ron is making $140,000 a year. He's getting his life back on track. The 8 months that Ron has been out of a job, he now no longer has to worry about that. Now, all he has to do is work his butt off for the next however many years until he retires. He has a pension plan. He'll be able to make things happen for him and his family. And man, I don't know if you understand this, but as the man of the house or the woman of the house, it's stressful when you don't know when that next dollar is going to come from. Okay? That's why I'm here, to help you. Ron took action. He heard the same thing you're listening to right now, right? And there are thousands of people who hear what I'm saying, and they don't do anything. And that's fine. They can do whatever they want. But nothing about your life changes if you don't take action. You can say, I want to lose weight, but you don't start eating less. I want to get stronger, but you don't work out. I want to save money, but you keep buying stuff off of Amazon, right? I want a new job, but you're not fixing your resume. I want to make more money, but you don't know how to position yourself as the solution for higher paying jobs. I want to get out of this company. It sucks over here, but you're not taking action on how to move yourself to the next phase and level to get in front of hiring managers who are going to interview you. I want to get more rest, but you're not going to bed. You're scrolling on social media, whatever, right? You can talk all you want. Nothing's going to change in your life if you don't take action. Information is important, but information without action is pointless. The Bible says it like this: faith without works is empty. It's dead. Information without action is useless. It's just noise. You might as well go listen to your favorite song. You have to take action. So, if you want me to help or you want me to review your resume for free, I'll look at it. That's the beginning. Nothing else matters if you don't get that taken care of. Send me your resume. I'll review your resume. I'll look at it. I'll tell you exactly what needs to be changed, corrected, added, subtracted, whatever it needs to happen with your resume. You can then make a decision to do whatever it is you want to try to get things on track for you professionally. I'm not trying to convince you that what I do works. It works. We serve thousands, almost 10,000 people a year. Okay? So I'm not trying to convince you of that. My goal is to help you understand that there is a pathway forward, but now it's on you. You have to take action. I will see you again on the next live. Take care.